She was sure the past was behind her, until that ex reappeared and invaded her family life once again. A chance encounter, strange messages, and broken trust, all threatening to destroy even the strongest marriage. Is it worth saving the relationship when not only her love, but even her job is at stake? This is Reddit Storytime, the channel where I share real people's stories. I am 32, my husband is 38. We've been married for 3 years now. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, but overall everything was good. The first worrying situation happened 5 years ago, when it turned out that he had been dating another girl who was 24 at the same time as me. I didn't know anything about her, but when I found out, I openly asked him about it. He said that at that point we weren't officially together, so he didn't think we were an exclusive couple. I gave him an ultimatum. Either he breaks up with Angela or I leave. We didn't speak for a while, but a few weeks later he showed up at my door out of the blue, said things were definitely over with Angela, that he wanted to be with me, and even suggested we start officially dating. After that, we became a pretty typical couple. Our relationship was going well. I truly believed he was my soulmate. But lately, there's been a problem, and her name is Angela. 3 weeks ago, my husband and I were out running errands and stopped by a new store near the supermarket. We were standing by the menu when, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a woman who looked like Angela. I glanced over. It was really her. I immediately tensed up inside and just hoped my husband didn't notice her. But suddenly, I heard a female voice call him by name, and of course, it was her. They exchanged a few words. Meanwhile, I just shut down and stared into space. Then she asked him, "Is this your wife?" And he simply nodded and took my hand. I forced a smile, just hoping it would end quickly. She then stood in line in front of us, got our drinks, and left right away. A week later, I saw a message pop up on his phone in Facebook Messenger. I asked him who it was because he rarely uses Messenger. He said it was from an old friend. I asked which friend exactly, and he said, "You don't know them." I felt suspicious but not anxious. I thought it was probably just some acquaintance. But a few days later, while I was ordering food from his phone, another message popped up, and this time it was from Angela. I was shocked. I opened the chat. Everything looked friendly, but considering their history, it made me really uncomfortable. I asked him directly why she was texting him. He said that after our accidental meeting, she added him as a friend and they started chatting. I told him I didn't like it and asked for the communication to stop. He agreed, and I asked him to unfriend her. He hesitated a little, but did it. And everything was quiet until last night. From what I found out, she started bombarding him with messages and even called him in tears, saying her mother was seriously ill. He had known her mother before, so I guess he sympathized. She told him she had nobody to help her, that she was struggling, and asked him to come support her. And he agreed. I only learned about this when I saw him putting on his shoes at the door. I asked where he was going, and he told me everything. I told him not to go. We had a bit of a fight. He was in a hurry. I blocked the door and said that if he left, he shouldn't come back. He waved me off, pushed past, and left. I went back to the living room, poured myself a couple of shots, and tried my hardest not to cry. 3 hours passed and he came back. I was sitting on the couch when he walked in. I said he couldn't spend the night here. He was shocked. We argued again. I told him if he had nowhere to go, he should go to Angela, since they supported each other so well. And he left again, and hasn't reached out since. Update 1. God, there are so many of you here. Thank you so much for your support. I'll answer a few comments now. I ended up going to bed and messaged work that I'm not feeling well and won't be coming in today. It's around 2 p.m. now. I've pretty much been napping all day, feeling weak, and there's still no word from my husband. He hasn't come home and his phone's location has been off since last night. I'm thinking about messaging him, but I'm not sure if I should. I really have nothing left in me. I feel like a zombie. I don't even fully realize what's happened yet. Everything happened too fast. If anything changes, I'll post an update for sure. Thanks again to everyone. Comments. You're not the bad guy here. He really just played the "she has no one else" card, as if it's your problem. It's his ex, not a charity case. Just because she calls him in the middle of the night? No, you didn't overreact. You just set a boundary and he tore through it like the finish line at a marathon. Stay strong, because the way he treats you is not normal. The fact you said, "Don't come back," and he did exactly that, well, that's his choice. Author's replies. Thank you for your support. I want to talk about all this with friends or family, but but I'm scared they'll just feel sorry for the girl if her mom really is sick. But what hurts is that my husband was willing to go to her. I don't know all the details. He was in a hurry, so I don't know if she has other friends or family. I'm guessing she does. So I don't see why she turned to my husband for support. Another comment from her: to be honest, I barely knew anything about her. I found out he was dating her because someone tagged him in a group photo on Instagram 5 years ago. I went to her profile. There was nothing about her age. I didn't dig too deep, but I looked. Enough to figure out they were really dating, and I remembered her face. That's when I asked him, and we fought about it. After that, I never brought her up again, tried not to look at her profile, because I have self-esteem issues and didn't want to compare myself to her. Before we got engaged, I finally dared to ask straight up about the whole Angela situation, and he told me everything. According to him, she came to his work, started talking to him, and suggested they date. She said she was 23. They started going out, and only 2 months later, he found out she was actually 19, almost 20, and that she'd found him through LinkedIn. She'd specifically searched for guys with high-paying jobs. Regarding the comments, some people are calling her author controlling, but this isn't about a friend, it's an ex. So no, she should have reached out to other people for support, that's all. The author replies, "Thank you, maybe you're right. I've thought about that myself. I feel like it's better to leave the past alone if you can't change it. But now I'm starting to realize that he probably was seeing both of us, bit by bit. Personally, I don't think I'm overly controlling. Some commenters say I am, but again, it was her, the ex. And not just any ex, but the one he was seeing simultaneously when we were starting our relationship. So in a way, he was cheating on Angela with me unless they were in some open relationship back then, which I doubt. I'm not trying to win him back, and either he's too dumb to see it or he just doesn't care." Another comment, in any case: "Leave him outside. Yes, smarter guys hide it better in chats, but I doubt he's that careful. I just realized the age gap between your husband and Angela. He was dating a teenager when he was already in his 30s. That's disgusting. And please don't have kids with this man. Major red flag." Update 2. Hi everyone. It's been 8 days since my first post, and I finally have an update. Sorry it took so long. I've been sick. This will be a long one, as I have to go over several things. To those who said I pushed my husband into another woman's arms, or that I was hostile controlling. First of all, if a married man is willing to run off to another woman just because we had a fight, then he isn't really my husband. I have at least some standards, and I would never marry an abuser. Secondly, to those who think I was excessively controlling or hostile toward Angela, if that's okay for your partner, that's your boundary, not mine. I don't want my husband to have contact with exes, and I don't keep in touch with mine either. And finally, about the age gap. I already wrote in comments how they met, but again, she lied about her age at first. I didn't know her age or anything about her at all until my husband and I were already engaged. Now, about the actual update. He did come home that same day. I was sitting on the couch watching TV when he walked in. We made eye contact but didn't say anything. He went straight to the bedroom and took a shower. I was still mad at him, so I stayed in the living room, in the kitchen, and didn't say a word to him. A few hours later, he woke up. I started making dinner. He sat on the couch. We ate in silence. Then he asked if I wanted to talk. I said yes, and he told me what happened. According to him, when we ran into Angela at the store, she sent him a friend request on Facebook that same day. She started sending him messages. At first, just small talk, then about stuff in her life, and then later, she started sending messages with suicidal content. My husband says he was worried about her as a person. They talked about her addictions, self-harm, and other personal things. From their messages, I learned that she has a boyfriend. He's 51 years old. My husband consoled her a bit, and then their communication stopped for a few days. Then she wrote again, and it happened again. He didn't reply until she started guilt-tripping him. When I found out about it and asked him to block her, he didn't do it because he was afraid, but he also didn't reply until that message that night. She sent very alarming messages and called him on Messenger. He picked up, and according to him, she was screaming and wailing in pain. I don't want to go into details, but she said she'd swallowed pills because of her mother. That's why he rushed over to her. When he arrived, she was acting really strangely, as if she'd actually done something to herself. He tried to persuade her to go to the hospital, but she refused. When he said he was calling 911, she admitted she hadn't taken anything. He asked why she'd said that. She didn't answer. He was getting ready to leave when she begged him to give her one more minute to explain. She said her mom is the only person who cares for her, and she needed someone to be with her when she found out about her mom's illness. He says if he'd known, he probably wouldn't have gone if it hadn't sounded so urgent. He asked Angela if her mom was really sick, and she mumbled something, looked like she was lying. Then he left. He said he sat in his car for a while, got something to eat, and wandered around town for a few hours before coming home. That's why when I saw him, he was exhausted and unable to explain anything, and that's why he stayed quiet. After all that, I felt absolutely drained. I usually need some time to think things over before I make decisions or reply, so I told him I needed time. I didn't talk to him at all until the next morning, and then I said I still needed more space, and asked if he minded if I went to my parents for a few days. So that's where I am now. Those few days turned into a week, because as soon as I got to my parents, I got sick. I felt so bad I couldn't even drive, let alone think about anything serious. Honestly, I still don't know what to do or how to even get back to normal life. I still feel betrayed. He didn't physically cheat as far as I know, but I can't trust him anymore. I'm not even sure he's telling me the whole truth. Divorce feels too radical for something like this. But I'm not sure. Tomorrow, I'll have to go back home because I'm feeling a bit better. I can't hide here forever. I have responsibilities, though it was really nice to take a break and spend time with my family. We barely talked all week, just exchanged a few messages. So tomorrow will be our first face-to-face conversation in a week. A few hours ago, I got a fresh message that reminded me I needed to post an update. I received a direct message on Instagram from some fake account. There was a photo, and I was a little scared to open it. I know it could be another scam, but something told me it might be connected to Angela. It was a screenshot. Looked like Angela's private story. She was in lingerie with the caption, "She'll taste me when she kisses him." Hi everyone, it's been a while, and I know I should have posted an update sooner. Now I can finally share with you what's happened. It's been a few weeks. A lot of stressful things have come up, so sorry for disappearing. I'll try to keep it to the main points, because there's just been so much. He was at work. I spent a lot of time thinking and was extremely anxious about talking to him, since I hate conflict and everything related to it. Plus, I was still sick and feeling really weak, so I just went to bed and decided we'd talk in the morning. The next morning, we finally talked. At first, there was just awkward chit-chat over breakfast. He was being extra sweet, even bought me coffee before I woke up. It was nice, and I didn't want to start a fight right away, so I just brought up the photo. For some reason, it offended him. He asked me to show what I meant. I showed him, and he answered with something like, "It's just a song lyric. It doesn't mean anything." We argued a bit. I don't remember the exact words, but in the end, I just decided to let it go. The next day, I went back to work, and for several days in a row, my husband and I were constantly fighting about Angela. The only times we weren't fighting was when we ignored each other. Yes, it was childish, but I was very angry with him and didn't feel ready to make up. Divorce or breaking up still felt too radical, since there was no direct evidence of cheating, only suspicions. Work became a kind of escape for me. I'd been working as a receptionist at a small private office for 5 years. I loved that job. Great boss, good pay, benefits, friends. Sure, sometimes people yelled at me on the phone, but overall it's the best job I'd ever had. Then the weird calls started. First, it was just strange silences. Then after a few days, people began asking how to reach my boss. That was strange because this rarely happened, but soon there were a few of these calls a day. My boss usually asks people to leave a voicemail since he's often busy. One day, just as I was about to leave, he asked me to come into his office. He played the voicemails for me and asked if I recognized any of the callers. All of them were complaining about me. I didn't recognize a single voice and told him no. The boss thought these were fake complaints, but wanted to find out who was behind it. We were told to ask for the name and number of anybody calling for the boss from now on. Then I was sent home for a few days to see if the calls would stop, but the calls didn't stop. A week later, I got a call telling me I was being let go. According to a coworker, the calls kept coming, and my boss just got fed up. He had to keep calling people back and sorting things out. So he decided it was easier to just fire me. I suspect this was Angela's or her friends' doing, and they succeeded in getting me fired. That week at home was driving me crazy because I was forced to be around my husband, and all I wanted to do was have a huge fight. At first, there weren't any problems, until I caught him in the hallway scrolling through Angela's Instagram. I saw him looking at her profile. Then I'd finally had enough and exploded. His excuse was, "I just wanted to check in on her." When I told him I'd been fired and suspected it was her fault, he called me crazy and said she would never do something like that. I was so emotionally exhausted that I didn't even bother arguing, and he probably decided he could do whatever he wanted now. He came home late at night, drunk, with lipstick and glitter on his face. We fought again, and he left. He disappeared for a few days, then sent a message, "Sorry, I love you." That same day, he came home looking depressed and wanted to explain everything. I let him. His argument was that he felt horrible about the way things were between us and just wanted to blow off some steam. He said he went out to a bar with friends, and some girl started hugging and kissing him, and he pushed her away right away and felt disgusting. I don't know if I believe him. I asked if he's still in touch with Angela. He said no, but admitted she'd reached out a few times and that once, yes, they did meet up. I asked if he ever slept with her. He said no, but admitted she kissed him and he pushed her away. I asked a lot about our relationship, and some of his answers really hurt me. In the end, I said I wanted us to spend some time apart. He started crying, begged me not to leave. I packed up most of my things while he knelt there apologizing, and I just ignored him and left. For the last 2 weeks, I've been living with my parents. I finally told them everything. Now they hate him. He comes by almost every day, tries to talk to me, but my parents absolutely won't let him see me. They live in a nearby town. He sends me food, flowers, gift cards, literally anything you can get delivered, he sends through services. I get tons of calls and messages from him. I've already blocked him, but now he's using his family and even some of my distant relatives. Honestly, I'm tired of him and I've begged him to stop contacting me, but obviously it hasn't worked. My next steps, I'm thinking about divorce, but I'm not ready yet. This all still feels unreal. I just need some time to heal a bit before making such a big decision. I have a feeling that divorce will be hard, and right now I'm not in the state to handle that. Another option is therapy and trying to reconcile. Right now, I'm looking for a job in the town where my parents live and planning to stay here for a while until I fully recover. As for Angela, I don't really want to talk much about her anymore because I honestly don't know if she'll disappear from my life. I don't think there will be any more updates. My relationship, for all intents and purposes, is over. Comments to OP. Go see a lawyer. The time to have self-respect was months ago, but it's never too late to start. Don't talk to him. Don't answer. Document everything and make it clear you're not coming back. Honestly, I'm curious what he wants from you. If he's checking her page, he's either still talking to her or wants to. You lost your job and it seems like he doesn't even care. 5 years is a long time, but I would never tolerate a husband who treats me with such contempt. You told him no several times, and he still went to her. Do yourself a favor. Leave him. You'll feel better. This story shows how important trust and personal boundaries are in a relationship. If your partner is unwilling to respect your feelings and keeps breaking agreements over and over again, it's a clear signal to think about your own well-being. Even when breaking up feels like too much, sometimes it's the only right decision to preserve your self-respect and peace of mind. It's important to value yourself and not be afraid to stand up for your boundaries. Real love is built on mutual respect. Thank you for watching this incredible story with us. If it was interesting or valuable to you, like and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss the next stories.